be kind of weird saying good morning when it's like 10 minutes before 12 o'clock. Still good morning. What's up, chat? What's up, the Sorry It's True podcast? All the members, all the mods in the building. How y'all feeling, man? It's your boy ARP and we back, man. How's everybody enjoying their weekend? How's everybody enjoying their Sunday? Is everybody getting things rolling? You know we got game 7 tonight, B. Come on, Shay. Come on, Shay. Pacers is pissing a lot of people off. I ain't gonna lie to you. Shout out to the Indiana though, man. Y'all deserve it. Y'all earned it. But yeah, we definitely got that game 7 tonight. What's up? We got a bunch of topics today, man. Y'all see the thumbnail? We got to make sure we stay up to speed with the Diddy trial. We're going to start with that today. It's kind of bugged out that the conclusion can happen as early as next week, right? We're seeing those reports coming out. It looks like both sides could rest as early as like Thursday and then send jury back into deliberation. And then we're going to be pretty much on jury watch, right? Every day as they're back there, they're coming out with a final decision. And that could be day to day, day to day. There'll probably be a bunch of channels that are just live on the courthouse, just waiting. Here's a throwback thought that crossed my mind. I remember how it was when OJ's verdict and people like kind of knew the day it was dropping. It's like the whole world was tuned in. Everybody's just in their regular day, but in the back of their minds, there's like still keeping their eyes on the TV and on the radio stations and whatnot. Like, what's gonna happen with OJ? It's gonna be a kind of like a feeling like that with Diddy. This is one of the biggest celebrity trials in a long time, right? It's Diddy. So, uh, I really appreciate the entire podcast, how much we stayed close to the trial. And we got to drive it all the way through and we're going to see what happens. But yeah, we're going to go through those updates. What else do we have after that? I think today is going to be a 3-topic stream. 3-topic stream. Okay. Second, we see what's going on with Jim Jones and Nas. And Jim Jones is getting attacked right now, and rightfully so, for some of the stuff he said in Nas's direction a couple days ago. I want to give you my reaction and my feedback on that, but I also want to go through the history. I don't see people bringing up the history. Like, shout out to people like Shannon Sharp and people that's like just snapping on Jim's like, what? Nas, like they flipping out on Jim. I want to pull up the history as well of those two guys. So, hip hop heads, get ready for that. We're going to have some fun as we walk through that piece. And you see the title, Aye Verb. I need to apologize to you for something. Okay. If anybody thinks I'm trolling with the title, I am not. We're going to wait. We're going to get there. When we get there, stay tuned. I am not trolling with the title. I really, really will be issuing Aye Verb an apology for something by the time we get to that topic. Okay. So stay tuned. All right. Before I start working, because once we lock in on this topics, it's going to be go, 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 transitioning in between before we lock in. Why are we even here at almost 12 o'clock? If anybody that cares, quick update of how the weekend's been going, man. It's been great. It's been fun. Yesterday, I said I had to rush off yesterday morning stream because I had to run around, whatever. I've been running around with family and friends all weekend. And it was my man Dop, his family, and my godson was with us. We took a bunch of kids to Six Flags yesterday. I don't know how people go to Six Flags without getting the speed passes. Those lines, hour, 2 hour, 3 hours, some standing in the sun and everything. I don't know how people do it. But I bought meal passes, speed passes, and general admission tickets for 9 people yesterday. Well, not yesterday. I pre-ordered them before. Came to like over $1,000. When I got there, and you go in with your tickets, you got to go into like this little separate office to like redeem your speed pass or like activate all of the speed passes that I had, like all 9 of them. And while I was in there, you see on the wall they got 3 different ones. They got the general speed pass, which is like you go to the ride, you check in, and then it alarms you like a food thing. Like it tells you when your food is ready, you come back, and it's just like, I'm cool on that. Then there's one in the middle. I don't remember what that does, but then there's the ultimate. The ultimate is you walk there and you are on the ride in 10 minutes. The biggest joints in the whole Six Flags, like the tallest roller coasters, like Goliath. That line it's ridiculous, like 3-hour line. You will be on it in 10, 15 minutes, right? So I did the upgrade on the spot for 9 people, another grand. I was like, oh shit, $2,000 for Six Flags? Who does that? I was like, oh my God. I can't wait until this Aye Verb fucking YouTube check comes in because I need it. So leave Six Flags, drive back to the crib. We try to sneak a little power nap in, take it to the city, do a beautiful dinner, drinks and all that, and then walk. The spot that I'm in is like a lounge right next to the dinner spot. So then go into the lounge, do a nice little section set up there. Got back home probably like around 2, 3 a.m. and then went into the theater and put Sinners on. I see that Sinners is on Amazon Prime now. Just put Sinners. I fell out. I fell asleep during the movie. I already seen it in theaters. It's classic. But long story short, I probably was up until like 4:30 ish. I don't even know how I'm up right now. But it's been that type of weekend, man. Entertaining guests and friends and family and having a good time. So gotta have your breaks from works, man. So never forget that, people. We grind pretty much 365. But when you can make time for friends and family, I know I joked earlier about them ultimate Six Flags passes and all that. But time with friends and family, when you're having, great times and all that and creating these memories, it's priceless. It's priceless. What was it? Saturday night, when a bunch of my boys came over, got the ladies outside hanging out, totally separated. The fellas was in the basement chilling. And even the quotables and the jokes and the arguments between the fellas, it's priceless. I really love my people, and I'll never, ever, ever, not value even the simple times that we all have. It's very important for us to do that, people, amongst our folks. So I know I joked earlier, but there was a serious higher level meaning there. But spending that much at Six Flags is crazy. All right. Now let's work. You guys ready? All right, let's work. Let's work. Let's work. We are going to start with the Diddy trial as promised. So the drug mule was put up there, right? When I first saw the drug mule get arrested like months and months ago, I looked at him the same way the Joker did in Dark Knight. It was just like, I can see the squealers. Like, but now that he's been up there and he's testified, I believe he's under immunity as well. Did he hold it down? Did he throw Diddy under the bus? I think there's less reason to throw somebody under the bus when you have immunity. No? Yes? Well, let's see. Let's take a look through some of this. Diddy trial highlights more drugs and free calls verdict next week. All right. The Diddy trial is entering the home stretch because prosecutors are almost done with their case, and defense is now saying they only need 1 or 2 days to make their decision. And it sounds like we can get a verdict as early as next week. Prosecutors called one of the final witnesses Friday, and we heard more of the same. I'm telling you, you can get numb if you're just going to keep on telling me about freak offs. And we heard all this stuff already while people are still looking for something more explosive. They're not getting it. Okay. This time for Brendan Paul, Diddy's former assistant, who said he is not a drug mule. So that was dude. Paul testified about getting drugs sometimes for Diddy and setting up the hotel rooms for freak offs like other former Diddy helpers. But he helped the defense by saying on cross-examination, it didn't feel like Jane was being coerced into participating in freak offs. Who's Jane? There's only been one Jane that has one of the biggest testimonies and I think pieces of the overall conclusion in this trial. Allegedly, Daphne Joy, aka 50 Cents PM. Okay. So he's saying, I didn't need to hear Paul say this. We all feel like she wasn't coerced. But it's different from public opinion in the podcasting world talking about it versus testimony in the court that the jury needs to go back and deliberate with. Okay. So that's a big one for the defense. This is who you're putting up there last but not least. Okay. Prosecutors tried to use Paul's testimony to nail Diddy to RICO charges, but it may have backfired when he said there was no force or coercion with Jane and freak offs. Jurors also saw texts from Diddy and Cassie, including one where Cassie and Diddy made her feel like a hooker. And also, I'm sorry, and another where she said she was into the freak offs. The defense told the judge they only need a day or two to make their case, and that means we can have closing arguments Thursday and deliberations Friday. So there's a chance the verdict comes next week. If I had to bet money, I would say next week, once again, they wrap things up. I don't know. We don't know if there's going to be another witness or two. But then again, the day of is normally they say who's coming next. So I don't remember seeing that coming out of Friday. But I would say if there's a last little witness that comes up there, something like that, then you get into your closing statements, deliberation. Do y'all really think that the jury's going to get up there or get in them back rooms and do that in 24 hours? If it was just a fun bet, little $50 bet or something, I would say no verdict next week. I would say maybe the following week if by at least Wednesday they get in. No, I'll give you Thursday. If they get into a deliberation by at least Thursday, I mean, obviously, because if they get into deliberation by Friday, then it's a wrap. You know, they're not going to work over the weekends. Then, I would win my bet. But if they get into deliberation Thursday, I'm not going to bet money that they would start Thursday and Friday. They're gonna be like, okay, let's read through it. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. But we'll see. We'll see. This thing felt like it moved way faster than it was predicted to move. There's a video up here I think I want to take a look at with Shal. Is this the TMZ? Yeah, let's check this out real quick. Let's check this out real quick. What do we got?
He testified, I would set up hotel rooms for freak-offs. I would sometimes buy drugs for Diddy, do things like that. Okay, what does that have to do with racketeering?
I don't know.
Today was a good day for the defense. I think the defense, in many ways, may have won today. And I think this is stunning. But we may get a verdict in the Diddy case next week. Next week. We thought that the defense was going to spend 2 weeks presenting a case. They are going to spend at most 2 days, maybe only 1 day. And that day is going to come early next week. The prosecution is expected to finish Monday. And that means on Tuesday, the defense has its day. Maybe goes into Wednesday, maybe not. And then they have closing arguments. They may have rebuttal, but I doubt it because the defense isn't going to put on that many witnesses. And so they do closing arguments. The judge gives instructions. And on Friday, I could see the jury deliberating. And what's interesting is we're now coming up on a holiday. We're coming up close to the 4th of July. And I can tell you, having covered scores and scores of trials, that one of the things that makes a jury decide on guilt or innocence is a holiday. That juries typically want to finish before any kind of an extended holiday. They also like to finish on Fridays so they don't have to spend the weekend worrying and coming back on Monday. So I'm not saying this is going to be a one-day verdict, but it could be. And I know that when juries think we have travel plans, we had plans over the weekend, you know, it may not be right, but it is just human nature that they reach a verdict. They reach a consensus. Now, I don't know that's going to happen. And honestly, my gut is that they're going to be split on racketeering. Although, again, I don't know. And after O.J. Simpson, I've stopped making predictions. But my guess is that racketeering is going to be a hard one. And I mean, today, Brendan Paul testifies. He is the, quote, drug mule, although he denies being that. That was arrested. He was arrested at the airport in Miami the day Diddy's houses were searched. And he testified, I would set up hotel rooms for freak-offs. I would sometimes buy drugs for Diddy, do things like that. Okay, what does that have to do with racketeering? I mean, it's legal to set up a hotel room and it's illegal to buy drugs. But if buying drugs is racketeering, I live in Los Angeles, and I would say that there must be several 100,000 people who are going to be guilty of racketeering who have drug dealers. That is not racketeering. And, we get back to this whole thing about racketeering, that it really is kind of organized crime where you have a business which is a subterfuge for some illegal operation. Diddy is a disorganized criminal. He's scattered all over the place. Get him, get her, do this, do that. He's a terrible boss, and he is a criminal for all of the things that have come out. But is he a racketeer? It is not the traditional view of racketeering. And I say that again with Brandon Paul. I'm just not seeing it. And as a matter of fact, one of the reasons I said Diddy won today is that, well, on cross-examination, Diddy's lawyers asked Brandon Paul, what about Jane, who was involved in the freak-offs, and the prosecution says she was coerced. Well, they asked Brandon Paul, did you see any evidence of coercion? And he said no. Again, I am not saying whether Jane or Cassie was coerced, was not coerced. I'm just saying when somebody testifies to that, and it's the prosecution who called that person, you got to wonder, why did the prosecution call Brendan Paul? How much good did Brendan Paul do for the prosecution in terms of proving racketeering? I don't see it. But in terms of talking about consent, since he saw Jane, that seems to help the defense. So I don't quite understand that game. So we are now coming upon what could be a very interesting jury deliberation. And there are three real elements here. One is racketeering, which I've talked about. My gut tells me there's going to be a split, at least initially, on racketeering. On the issue of consent, whether Cassie and Jane were coerced, again, I think the most powerful evidence at this point is that airplane trip back from France where Cassie says Diddy showed me one of the freak-off videos and said, unless you do a freak-off in New York, I'm going to release the video. That's classic coercion. If the jury believes it, I think he's going to get convicted. But I haven't seen much more where they've shown that. And we will see on the coercion side. I don't know. On the side of just the Mann Act, of showing, did you transport a sex worker across state lines, give them money for the purpose of prostitution? I think that's where Diddy is in big trouble. I could easily see the jury coming back unanimously and saying yes to that. And I think that is going to be the most interesting charge, because you may have some jurors who say, I want to convict him on something, but I'm not quite feeling racketeering and not even feeling the consent issue, but at least I can get him on the Mann Act. So I could see some jurors saying that. On the other hand, you might have some jurors saying, well, I want to get him on the Mann Act, but I'm not sure of the other two. And since I've convicted him on one, I may let the other two go. So if I'm able to convey what I hope I am, is that this is a very complicated, dynamic process of a jury, in some ways, horse trading. And that is what goes on. Again, everybody thinks, oh, it's just by the book. You look at the jury instructions. There is horse trading going on sometimes in jury deliberation rooms where they want to reach a consensus and they got to figure out, how do you do it? And sometimes it could be that somebody is very persuasive saying, look, if you're really not sure on this one or this one, fine, we'll say not guilty, but here he's guilty. And the thing that everybody's thinking of is, how long is this going to go on? That you can't do it indefinitely. And they've already invested so much time, they don't want to end up with a hung jury and a mistrial. That's a very unsatisfying, hollow feeling. So they want to come up with something. And if they're divided, that's where horse trading often comes into play. So we are going into a weekend. Next week is going to be very, very interesting, because I think the jury is going to have this case next week unless something really unexpected happens. And I do want to say one other thing. The defense initially said that they were going to spend 2 weeks. So you got to wonder, why 1 or 2 days instead of 2 weeks? So it could be a variety of things, but my gut tells me that they don't have necessarily the strongest witnesses to call, number one, to rebut what the jury has already heard. But even more so, maybe they feel that they've got enough reasonable doubt that if they look strong and say, we don't need to rebut a lot, all we need is a day or two to button certain things up, and then we're going to give it to the jury. There's a feeling of confidence that the defense shows by doing something like that that can telegraph to the jury, where the jury thinks, they don't think the prosecution proved their case, so they didn't have to do the full 2 weeks. And they might also think, and they're giving us a break because we don't have to sit through 2 more weeks of testimony. So there's a lot at play here. But I would say to you, be ready, because we may get a verdict in United States versus Sean Combs next week.
I will say this, man. I think his overall take was great. I got to give credit where credit is due, man. I'm pretty much aligned with a lot of his opinions as far as now the horse trading piece is something that I don't know if that's a real thing legally, right? The horse trading thing sounds like something that a juror would do mentally. Like, I'm looking at the charges, I'm back here trying to make my decision. I'm saying, like, okay, the whole consent, I'm not with you. The whole RICO thing, I'm not with you. But this whole thing of breaking interstate lines and trafficking, at the end of the day, to the letter of the law, that was proven, right? So if the horse trading thing is happening in that on that level, because when you look at the totality of it, it's like this is why the government brought these charges. And 9 out of 10 times I'm looking at these days from this trial and I'm saying, I'm not really there on board with you all the way, prosecution or government. But I'm still seeing during the midst of this trial some illegal things that are being proven out to me. So me mentally, I can't just say not guilty because he's guilty of some of this stuff. But why we got here, I don't agree with. I think that's what he meant by the horse trading stuff. So there's going to be a psychology from juror to juror thing that they're going to have to look in the mirror about. And it's not going to be easy. And I wouldn't want to be on the jury either. At the end of the day, all jokes aside, it's a man's freedom. You know, you want to get it right. You want to get it right. But the presentation of what the government brought, it puts you in a fucked up spot as a juror because you may be up there looking at some of this shit and saying, you's a nasty, disgusting boss, boyfriend, person, controlling, abusive, all of this. You dangerous. You're all of these things, I believe. But the charges that were brought forth, not easy. Not easy, not easy. And that's once again why some people feel like when it was OJ's second term around, they threw the whole kitchen sink. All right. So that was a good breakdown there. And yeah, we got to tighten everything up, tighten the ship up as far as next week because Monday through Friday should be very critical. And then we're going to lead into deliberation and it's going to go how it's going to go. All right. Let me transition over with the supers. Shout out to Jay, our beautiful mod and member in the building, says consensual. That has been the narrative. That has been the biggest word, the biggest angle for the defense. And we've seen a shitload of consent to the point where we've been pissed off about some of the things that these alleged victims have been doing amongst Diddy's presence, right? And accepting. Even the recency of the audio of Cassie coming out. Because people's memories, what happens the most recent lives in people's minds first and foremost, right? So if you end up in deliberation, like let's say next week, one of the most recent things that happened that's in your mind is that audio. And this drug mule, for example, getting up there and saying, I didn't see no coercion, and I was the one that was setting up the freak offs. Hell, when Jane walked up in there, she was like, hey, hello, Paul, how you doing? All right, close the door behind you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. But Shout out to Lux the Goat 313 says ARP. I know you have a tough decision tonight. Will you be watching Game 7 of the Finals or Gnome 15? So there's some good cards on Gnome 15. I think a majority of the promotion has been around controversy. Is the card living up to the hype? And then you had the stuff with Beasley and Hitman and TBL and Twerk versus Av. But some of the matchups on that card are good. I'm definitely going to be fully tuned into games. Like, you also got to look, for me personally, you don't get many game sevens. Game sevens are supposed to be historic. You get a finals game 7 as an NBA fan. What more can you ask for? Now, if there was other stuff when I looked at that card and it really, really made me stop what I was doing, I would be tuning into both. I've done that plenty of times. I got something that I'm watching over here, something that I'm watching over there. On September 13th, there's no way that I can miss Crawford versus Canelo. But on September 13th, there's no way I can miss Hitman versus Murder Mook. And I also think TBL's event is going to end well before the Crawford and the Canelo fight start, because that's also being hosted in Vegas, which means even in that time zone, that fight fuck around and come on at like 11 p.m. Eastern as the main event, maybe even later. Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather might have started 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, and so I'm watching both like that. I have to see both on September 13th. But this one, the card didn't really do enough for me to stop everything that I'm doing. And that's been the case with me for a bunch of battle rap cards over the last couple of years. When there's a dope card that has at least a big main event that I have to see, like, oh no, I really want to see this Easy versus Suge and see how that turns out. Like, that's when I'm there live. You know what I'm saying? But if I catch any of these, if any of them, no, they won't be released. What am I talking about? But I don't know. I'll pay attention to some of the recaps maybe tomorrow or something like that, just to stay in the loop of battle rap. But no, I'll be fully game 7 mode, to be honest, man. All right, let's move on, man. Let's move on. First, getting into this Jim Jones and Nas stuff. Before I jump into the history, 3, I hope you're still in the building. We got to do a little bit of the hip hop thing. All right, homie? Before I get into the history of it, let's come up to speed with what's started all this stuff, all right? Is it Jim being Jim? All right, let's take a look. Let's bring him up here. Let me jump on a small screen for y'all. All right. Let's see.
He loved Jim Jones. I want you to break
let's break this down. I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation. We're talking about 94, 93. I was in 11th grade. Nigga, it's 2025. There's a big gap there, you know what I mean? And I want people to understand that. So when Shorty's telling people that, yeah, he's 20-some years old, that goes to show the part of the era that he's in that I came into life.
He loved Jim Jones.
And started going crazy that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them. Some of them know.
You know what I mean?
Like, of them know.
Yes.
But it's the era.
Some music.
No,
there's some kids that.
No, I love that.
There's some kids that love hip hop.
20, so I mean,
but your kid, he's your son.
He's your son.
He's your son.
No, but he knows.
My son can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like let's keep it a buck here.
Yeah, but
like, let's keep it a
we
buck.
Will.
You heard? Let's keep it a buck because you'll bring it up. There must be some type of misconception or what's that word when it comes to Jim Jones and what Jim Jones have done in this game. A lot of these rappers,
we made them take the darkies off.
A lot of these rappers have done a tremendous job, and I take nothing away from them. But they forget I got a hell of a catalog. Me, Jim Jones, myself, Gold Records, and started going crazy that these kids.
Oh man, my blood was it was racing. It wasn't boiling. It was racing a little bit just now. Damn. Once again, trying to bullet point some of that reaction in my mind because there's a lot I took from that clip. Jim Jones, he's done it a bunch of times. He's done it with Pusha T. He's done it with Nas. He's done it with Styles P. And some of it I believe is competitive, which is dope. I have no problem with that. None of these is no real beef. So shout out to Jim, right? And he should also be confident. And if he wants to take a shot, if he wants to compete, if he wants to believe in his library and his legacy, he definitely has the right to do so. And he's earned it. Okay. So let me start there. But one thing that he does consistently, in my eyes, he's not that good at giving credit to people that he don't fuck with, right? In regards to what they actually earned, their truths. You see, I've always tried to practice that as much as possible. Yo, you don't get along with these people, but what do you think about that main event? That main event is crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's what keeps your integrity, right? So I've always tried to be like that. But Jim is a guy, instead, he's more so like, shit, I haven't heard nothing from him. Nah, his shit is trash. Like, I'm better than him. My library is deep, you know, and there's personal stuff that we're gonna get into that really is the motivation and the motive behind him doing what he's doing and saying the things that he's saying. Let me now get to this piece. This whole thing about my son don't know a single song from Nas, or the this period of time they don't know nothing about Nas. Jim, that's a little crazy for two reasons. It's crazy for two reasons. The first reason why it's crazy is when you have these generational switchovers and handoffs, right? The impact of somebody carries. The impact will carry for lifetimes. Okay. There's children that were born in the 2000s or whatever, and they were birthed after Michael Jackson passed away. They know what the moonwalk is. They know what bad is. They know what Thriller is. You bump into some of these kids and you didn't teach them Michael Jackson and they start singing the songs around you. Who told you Michael Jackson? It's Michael Jackson. He's going to find his way into your home sooner or later somehow. You're going to realize who Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson ain't knocked the nigga out in how fucking long. Got little youngins that know who Mike Tyson is, though. How is that? He's finding his ways via video games, interviews, movies. Now, let me put this towards Nas. The Nas's and the Jay-Z's of the world. They've done the same thing. Nas is on tour right now. He's got a show coming up like that I was looking at recently. Nas has still found ways to be in people's faces. Nas never got looked at by anybody and said, where are they now? It's been Nas the whole time. Jay-Z may not be dropping an album every 6 years lately, right? But we still are aware of this guy's presence within the hip-hop world. Now, here's factor number two. To say that my son don't know nothing about Nas, it's a letdown for the people that's in hip-hop. And that response came from when Jadakiss was saying, like, my kid, you know what I'm saying? And Jim was like, yeah, but you're a kid. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's damn near a responsibility of people that protect hip hop and that are invested in hip hop, especially supposedly the rappers, right? To save it, to preserve it, to teach it. We've had literal fights and discussions over time of bringing hip hop into classrooms to be taught as a subject. That's a beautiful thing. When Jay-Z's library pops up or museum pops up or whatever in Brooklyn, it's a beautiful thing for people to walk through and get the history of his legacy, his career, his albums, his ventures, his entrepreneurialism. It's our duty. And dude, the reality of this shit is you just don't fuck with Nas, and that's okay. But passing on Nas's legacy is kind of like the duty of the hip hop heads in the hip hop world. Maybe you don't want to pass it on to your son. Maybe that's a little bit too close to home. I respect it, right? But to get out there and generally throw out a comment of my son don't know a single Nas song, that's like somebody being born in the 2000s and saying, I never watched the Michael Jordan game. And it's okay if LeBron is your man. But no. We're not doing that to Michael Jordan or to Magic Johnson or to Larry Bird or to Julius Erving or to Wilt Chamberlain or to Jerry West and the list goes on and on and on. We're not doing that. You want to call yourself an NBA fan or fan of basketball and you can't tell me who Larry Bird is? You're the problem. You want to tell me you're a fan of hip hop and you can't tell me who Nas is? You're the problem. Now, that's my reaction to his initial breakdown right there of the generational gap of Nas and using some of the youngins out there. let's go into the history now. The true motive of where this shit comes from. Okay. Now, to Jim's credit, as much as I just had to shoot a gun or two at Jim, to my memory and to my recollection, didn't start the beef. It really was Nas, though. All right. Anybody remember this one? This is super old, super throwback. You see, I'm even referencing a video from World Star. It wasn't even easy. I knew it was out there. It took me 10 minutes to find this shit. Check this out, y'all.
Today, I just got a call telling me this. Apparently, Cameron was saying some shit about your daughter and R. Kelly and bringing her to his house and some shit like that.
I mean, it would be obviously, to talk about people's moms and daughters, and that's how you reach down and really try to hurt somebody and feelings. That right there will put me against the wall, because obviously what I want to do to a rapper that's really not a street rapper, just a rapper who's been down with Undias, been down with Mace, singing songs, and been down with when Mace gets hurt up by these guys, he jumps on the guy's team who hurt when Un got hurt by these guys, he jumps on their team. He's lost, he's looking for a way to sell records, but he doesn't understand he's being used as a slave by Hot 97 for ratings and to speak up for Flex, who don't care about nobody except for himself. And what I'm telling artists is you gotta have balls and gotta let these guys know, if you're a DJ, be a DJ. If you're a radio personality, be a radio personality and nothing more. We make the music that allows them to have a voice on the radio, and they take control and try to say that they have all the power and gonna dictate what we have to do. I spoke out against it, so they got a dummy to go up there and be a dummy on the radio and speak on their behalf and talk about me. And it's really unfortunate because they're using him, and he's not even a part of my fight. My fight is a big fight. My fight is against any power structure that's going to try to hold back freedom of speech, and that fight ain't over yet.
So you brought up names like Cameron and Nelly when you were on Power 105 set.
I brought up names like Cam, Nelly, Cameron, because he had a hot single. The album to me is garbage, and that's how I feel. Rappers are scared to talk about these things, and the radio stations get paid to play these records over and over. The album's garbage. I'm saying step up your pen game. Noriega, I like Nori, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like he's really not taking this game serious enough. He's more talented than that. Who am I to decide? Who am I to say something? I'm a human being with opinion. Nelly, he made remarks about KRS-One. To me, it's outrageous. I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know what's got into me. But one thing is, I love the music too much, and I'll try to stay real to it. When I see people faking the funk, I can't have it. I bought Nelly album. I bought Nori album. Nelly's very talented, but just the battle between him and KRS-One, I ain't understand, and I spoke about it. Now, when one rapper takes it upon himself to challenge me, we're gonna see what happens when my next album come out.
How's that going?
That was a very important piece for me to leave up until the end when he said, if anybody takes an issue, we're going to see what happens when my next album drops. That's important. Even though we just put Nas on the spot, one of our GOATs, one of our legends, one person that we need to protect for life. Okay. It was important for that end because it was competitive and it was passion and it was hip hop rooted, the issues that he started taking across hip hop. But you also got to respect the fact that within hip hop, most of his primary targets were within New York. A New Yorker, a Queensbridge New Yorker. He went after New Yorkers the most, right? Nori. This is not even just like Staten Island and Queens. This is like both Queens natives. Like, we both from Queens. Like, he like, yo, Nori, at the end step, when he went on that rant, remember, he was into it with Jay. He was supposed to do his concert. Allegedly, Summer Jam or Hot 97, whoever, shut him down, didn't allow him to get his payback the way that he felt that he earned and he deserved to. He took his ass right over to the Ops 105 and said, okay, I'm outing everybody. The payola shit, he changed the game when it comes to payola, as a matter of fact. Give Nas his credit in that moment. He was being an ambassador, right? He rubbed some folks the wrong way, but he was being a hip-hop ambassador. Payola, there's laws and shit that changed around his rant about DJs taking money. He went at Nelly. Hey, I'm going down now. Oh, that is Nas is a New York lyrical assassin. He heard that. You're like, you went diamond with that. He voiced it. Nori, one of the biggest attractions to Nori is here. Like, at what point in the song is he gonna scream, what? Like, like, yo, step your pen game up, Nori. It's like, oh shit, Nas is going crazy. He's shooting at everybody. And that's real. That's really what happened. You know what I'm saying? And there's a bunch of people that got caught in his crosshairs. Cam was one of them. The album was trash or whatever. Nas felt that he had the right to critique all of his peers and the state of hip hop. And he did. Maybe he went about it the wrong way. Maybe he could have chose a different choice of words. But if it was all based in competition, that's one of the ultimate passes, because this is hip hop and you niggas should know what time it is. Kendrick lyric reference in the flight real quick, reference king. But Jim was going to take issue with it. Early Jim Jones within the Diplomats wasn't necessarily a rapper, wasn't a videographer at the time, wasn't a fashion icon back then. His damn near full image was like the protector, the capo. What's a capo? Where does a capo come from, people? Jim Jones? No, it comes from mafia terminology, the underboss. Okay? That was pretty much Jim Jones's whole image, the enforcer, the person that's going to get out there and be New York's rider man. You guys with me with the history? Right? That was really why Jim came out and he did this. I'm laughing even bringing this shit up. Check this one out for anybody that either didn't know, maybe wasn't around back then, or forgot. Let me scroll down through this John here. Where's the audio to it? Here it is, right here.
As for Nas, man, I guess you ain't Muslim no more, man. So you know what that means. I'm gonna smack that fucking kufi off your fucking head, man. Because I had a little issue with my Akis, man. They was telling me be cool with the little fucking kufi shit. But no, here goes kufi straight off your fucking punk ass head.
Yo, who was there? Who remembers, B? He was calling himself the Kufi smacker. He had a Kufi list and all that. Smack your Kufi off. Because remember, people, when Jay-Z was into it with Nas, when he said the lines, fuck you trying to kick knowledge, right? He was painting Nas as like, when did you turn into Sharif? When did that happen, Nas? Nas was coming out, the Kufis came on, and he went a little bit more conscious. It wasn't as street as we were used to him being. And that's where Jim Jones went. He is the Kufi. I'm going to smack the Kufi over. So, you had to be there. You had to be there. And that's really what it all started from. And the thing with Jim, going back to my initial reaction and take on what he said up there with Fat Joe and Jadakiss, over the years, he's just never been able to separate the two. Jim Jones is not able to get up there and say, yo, Nas is a GOAT. Nas is one of the best rappers ever. Nas has maintained his relevance from the day we met him all the way up until June 2025. Jim is not really capable of doing that. And he's done it with a bunch of people, right? And now the internet is killing him for it. But the history of it is showing you where his bias towards Nas came from. And it's like he hasn't healed from it, okay? He's still got an issue. I don't think he wants to smack nobody's Kufi off no more, but he still has an issue with Nas, okay? So there goes the history walk for you guys. That take is not on the internet right now, okay? And 3, this is where a lot of this stuff is unfolding, okay? It's unfolding at this time. All right, 3. This classic era. And I know you try to come up to speed on it, later on YouTube. You're probably like pulling up some links and whatnot. But now I was taking them trips down Canal Street and all that and picking up my weekly, sometimes 2-3 times a week, Drama Kings and Desert Storms and DJ Envies and the Dipset movements and the G Unit radios and the Lil Wayne drop. Like, I understand, man. Like, you're still catching up. You've done a good job catching up. You have a good amount of knowledge. But king level, boy, you got a long way to go. I'm going to keep learning you, though. It's all good. I got you, 3. Don't worry about it. Perfect transition using 3, who is one of our battle rap legends, to move into my battle rap topic. And pardon, I know lately it's been like a different look for a different reason, but let me get my little let me get back in my little St. Louis John real quick. Okay, y'all. Pardon. Okay. My title. Aye Verb, I need to apologize to you for something. I told you in the beginning of the stream, I'm not trolling. I really, really have to apologize to him for something. It's a legitimate apology. It's a real apology. Okay. But before I get there, let me just scroll my Twitter. You guys have seen the last couple streams, right? And I'm in retweet mode. I'm in homework mode. I'm in gather more and more information mode. It could be I don't know how many live streams before I drop a single edited video. I don't know. I already have a ton. There's more and more stuff coming my way. Does anybody want me to do an interview about yesterday's question? Did Oops get the name Oops from knocking Aye Verb out? Does anybody want me to interview Oops about that? Does anybody want me to interview? And I don't want to say too many names. Interview anybody else from St. Louis about that? Should I do those interviews? All right. Let me check my Twitter. I know he's never going to apologize or admit that he was wrong for what he did. So in the meantime, we'll be here. It's all good. I told you I didn't expect it. Part of me didn't really want him to apologize, but I would have given him the opportunity to be a man, and he doesn't have it in him. So we're still here. Let's keep going. What's happening on my Twitter? Okay. Am I on a small screen? Yes, I am. Good morning, folks, from this morning stream. Shout out to y'all. What's this? The fuck wrong with him? What happened? What happened with Fonz? Why you got Fonz, the Fonz joint? I don't even know what this is about. Shout out to Fonz, by the way. What's going on with the trenches? What's going on with Froze? Shout out to Froze. Saying the trenches artists haven't been tested at a gnome level is not equivalent to saying RBE is KFC. What's going on with the trenches and gnome and RBE KFC? I don't got nothing to do with that. Shout out to Trench Mob Media. It's Frozen. I ain't got nothing to do with that argument. Let me jump out of that. What's the topic? You've been on a roll. Yeah, we get into it now. Shout out to TBL, September 13th. If you don't have your tickets to be in the building, make sure that you are on that live pay-per-view. I will be. I might not be able to recap it right away, but I will be watching that live stream like the rest of the world. One of the biggest battles. No, my bad. The biggest battle left. Could have at least put the link to help us out, LOL. But let me bow out fast. I got no dog in the fight. Get your tickets ASAP. Bulletproof. Did I do something? Oh, so I posted this yesterday. You said I should have put the link in it. You're right, which is exactly why I'm going to retweet this right now. Shout out to TBL. He's talking about my post yesterday. I put up, Verb isn't a good investment right now. Well, let me go to the tweet itself. Verb isn't a good investment right now for multiple reasons. But if you decide to book him, be careful of what your ROI, return of investment, will be and negotiate wisely. Because if it's not drama queen shit or putting him in a sea of St. Louis Kings, i.e. like a max out where he's got all this other energy to help him stay amongst the greats and sell a card, right? Because he really thinks that his A-Ward promo is worth $1 million or at least $100,000, right? He looks like this. 77,000 views 7 days ago, a week ago, just dropped on TBL's channel. Once again, shout out to TBL. This was Chilla Jones versus Aye Verb. Anything Aye Verb does should be at least $100,000 in a week, I would assume. He's always ranting about his numbers on Twitter. He's the energy, he's this, he's the algorithm and all that. Shout out to him. For my tweet to do 17,000 views and for his video to do 70, what percentage is that? That's bad. I'm just curious. Let me do that real quick. 77,000 times 17%. That's how you do it, right? 13%, closing in on 15%. I shouldn't be able to put a tweet up that gets anywhere near 15% of you dropping unique rounds, your legendary status as a Mount Rushmore battle rapper on any platform. I don't care what the channel is or how many subscribers they got or how long they've been around or what the promo was like. I don't give a fuck. You are Aye Verb, right? Right? Make another Hove, right? You should be able to carry anything. And that's another thing. If somebody owes you $100,000 from Max Out 3, right? why are you not out here like just you got all this traction and all this your words motion? Why are you not out here creating for yourself? Then again, I did see you tweet the other day. You got a league coming this set. Stand on that. The whole battle rap culture make him stand on that. He says he has a league coming. He did kind of solicit that to me last year. I declined, just like him being a talent scout for RBE. I declined his solicitation. But now that you got to stand on your own and you're putting it out there publicly that you're starting your own league, get some battles booked. I don't know where your deposit money is coming from. Yo, Gerald, are you back in touch with Aye Verb? Because he does not have deposit money. But get your hands on that deposit money. Let it come from all these different ventures and side hustles, and you the man, and you don't gotta wake up and do nothing except for spaces and YouTube live. You rich, you the man like that. All your food comes out the ground. Make sure this league happens. As a matter of fact, can you tweet when the first event is gonna happen by? Can we get that? Where are we at? We towards the end of June 2025. Can we get an understanding of when the first event is going to come? Please tweet that to your fans and followers since you're already semi-promoting that your league is on the way. Give them a heads up of when the first event is coming. Tell us so we can put it on the calendar. All right. I want to know. Let's see if 2, 3, 4, 5 months from now we hear anything about Aye Verb on his own launching a league and booking battle rappers and putting money in their pockets. Let's see. Let's hold them to it, people. Okay. But back to TBL. I know TBL's like, nigga, don't forget this piece. I got you, homie. Yes, y'all get y'all tickets. Like, retweet. 100%. Let me add a quote. Get your tickets now. Boom. Hell yeah. We supporting this TBL card. They out here giving us mega stuff. Come on, man. We with you. We got you. We with you. What else we got going on my Twitter? Don't be lazy, ARP. Let me kick in. Oh man, there's some people replying. It says, in what world is 10K views a day bad? Verb is a lot of things, but to act like this battles don't get attention is silly. No, it's not bad. I'm a guy that always said, in what world is, I got my references are popping into my head. Crazy. Hold on. In what world is like 100,000 view video bad? It's not. Bernard Hopkins taught that lesson once upon a time when he fought Tito Trinidad. Froze, what up? You with me? When he fought Tito Trinidad, he bet on himself. He took like, I think, $250,000 and he bet it on himself. It was like a gambling website, and he put a henna tattoo on his back while he fought Tito Trinidad. And by the end of the fight, the shit was all rubbed off and everything. But I'm pretty sure they got their promo. But in his post-fight win, by the way, that's one of my top 5 favorite boxing matches to analyze of all time. That was sweet science Pernell Whitaker layer. That was the sweet science of boxing. What Bernard Hopkins did to Tito Trinidad. Disgusting work. At his undefeated peak, by the way, Tito Trinidad. In the post-interview, they asked Bernard Hopkins, Tito Trinidad, he was the man, he was a star at the time. You made blah, blah, blah. I'll just make up a number, $10 million. He said, did you feel slighted by you only making $1 million? And Bernard says, in what world is 1 million the word only? I ain't gonna lie. Even back then, I was just like, oh, bar. I'm going to live by that too. So I say that to say, 77,000 views, man. You know how many battle rappers would love to have a 77,000 view battle in even 7 days or a week? The difference here is we're talking Aye Verb. We're talking the guy that says he generates millions of dollars from his promotion. He's the top dog. Nobody's got traction or motion out here, and especially not even the top view guy, which is Hitman Holla. Aye Verb is above him. Let him tell it. So I don't understand like how a Hitman Holla video could drop and I can see like 100 in a day, 250 in a week, 500 in a week, 1 million in a week, 1 million in a month, 1 million in 3-4 months or whatever. And if Aye Verb is above that, then when I turn around and I see him drop against another legendary battle rapper, which is Chilla Jones, and we appreciate the art of bars. That's what these two guys are supposed to deliver us. But when that video goes on YouTube on a channel that everybody's paying attention to right now, TBL, you have 77,000 views and you the man, there's a difference, homie. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying it's bad for Verb. You get it? All right, let me go. What else we got going on here? What else we got going on here? I'm just scrolling my Twitter like I did the last couple streams. But hold up, let him cook. Y'all crazy. What I do? What I do? Retweet this. Oh no, this was about the TBL shit. Retweet just for the funny fucking gifs and memes, y'all. Y'all look crazy. Finish him. Like retweet. There's gonna be a long time before this is finished. I can tell because Verb is Verb. He's going to continue, and so will I. You know what? You're right, but Verb is a legend from the old era. That's why I'm shocked he's acting how he's acting. Like retweet. I'm not shocked. Um, yeah, I'm not shocked, which is bad within itself. ARP. I know you a New York or wait, I know you a New York nigga you meant. Okay. I was watching Vodafly blog and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Leo, like a king that has an iron fist from them drives. Can you make it rain? Not rain 49 days and 40 nights. I can. I could do that just with lives, but I just need time to get to all the editing. Like my life is just, I got a lot going on. It's not an excuse. I'm actually being honest instead of bluffing like, yo, it's coming tomorrow. Nah, I'm gonna go through them drives and anyway, let me not say too much. Let me not say too much. This is the tweet, buddy. Might be from the insane asylum in STL. Hate people that always know something. What that got to do with anything, bro, is weird. At its ARP, buddy is cooked. I just want to know why Vodafly blocked me. I watch his YouTube faithfully. LOL. So shout out to this is Robinson at freaky underscore Meeky. You gotta be careful with that name. It sounds almost like Meek Mill allegations, homie. But Vodafly, look into Robinson. If he's a loyal supporter of your channel, y'all might want to cross paths. They'll figure that out, But Robinson, shout out to you supporting or being active at least on my page. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything about that situation, so I'm gonna let y'all work that out, shed some light on it for y'all too. Y'all figure that out. What are you talking about? What's Verb talking about? Most of these niggas don't like me because I know what men are out here fucking men in the culture. They get mad at me when I catch them like I care. Dude, go take your pounding. That's your biz, nigga. Just know when you bark at me, it's a meow I hear. Meow. A little sassy ass Verb. He just put this up the June 21st yesterday. Okay, so you didn't learn your lesson from last time. How you're back to you like just bringing out these random. I know what men are sleeping together. That's getting weird. Isn't that how you got into it with Av? Isn't that what made Av press you? You ain't learned your lesson yet, man. Isn't that what's making it comfortable for you putting these just putting accusations on people once again, right? Verb, how about this? Here's another one, just like your league, where we're saying, let's put him on the clock and say when his first event is. Let's make him stand on it because he does a lot of shit talking and shows nothing to what he's saying. Right. So let's put him on the clock about his league. Let's press him about his league and let's press him about this. Here's the way we're going to press him about this tweet because he's doing it again. I know what guys are sleeping with each other. Dude, say the names, right? Because if men is out here sleeping with each other and portraying an image, right? Or possibly even doing things with minors, which you've alluded to as well. We want to figure that if it's men that have their preference or whatever, they on some Diddy shit, whatever, hey, you do what you do, especially the minor stuff. No, we want to identify them if there's evidence and let them have their day in court or a day in front of people. And let's get all the evidence out. Let's figure out guilty or not guilty. Right? Why would you want to hold on to information like that? Or do you just randomly wake up with those thoughts in your mind about, I know what men is fucking. If you don't start saying it, if you just keep going towards that without actually exposing it, because it's on your mind, you want us to know about it, right? So just expose it then. Or else you just keep randomly waking up once a month with those thoughts in your mind of like, guys be out here in the battle rap world fucking. Well, you must be following some type of epidemic that we don't know yet. Put us on, homie. You know more than me. Teach us. Let's hold him to that too, man. Maybe he feels like The last time I had a lot of buzz and controversy around me, I started just randomly tweeting. I know battle rappers that are sleeping each other. Maybe I can get the whole battle rap culture to follow that path once again and ignore ARP and all the bloggers and Hitman Holla's voice and all this stuff going on that's got me looking like the peon lion sucker that I've been portraying for this last couple of God knows how long. It's not going to work this time. I see your tactics once again. That's another reason why you've always avoided the back and forth or the conversations or the debates with me publicly, because I see through your glass ass. You want to talk to idiots. You can't talk to the me's of the world. You want to avoid the me's of the world. So if you want to avoid the me's of the world, don't put no stupid shit on a name. You shouldn't be out here saying that I'm robbing you. You're fucked up, buddy. And then your ego. You can't apologize. You can't. No problem. All right. I'm gonna leave my Twitter alone. Let's get to my apology. Let's get to my apology. I need to apologize to the young man. I really do. Fred, what up? Shout out to the whole M3S3, man. I've been very supportive of them over the years. Beautiful podcast that you guys are building. Another one that I'd like to shout out, of course, is the homie he supported, RBE, the Dancer Project. It's beautiful to look out into the podcast space and the content space and see people that have been supportive within battle rap, possibly come from battle rap. Shit, I'm one of them with the Sorry Shoe podcast. To see them out there doing their thing. So the Dancer Project, love it. Love it. Fred, M3S3 platform, or y'all keep doing y'all thing. I say that to say this. Dope what you guys are building. Keep booking Verb. Keep booking Verb. He's always going to give you some good sound bites. He's going to give you some bullshit. You should turn Aye Verb into your Charleston White, like your repeat, guest that's always going to come up there on some Jaguar right shit and say some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, he needs you right now. Right? He needs you. So keep booking him. You know what I mean? But this is what I need to apologize about. Real talk.
You may be jealous of Hitman and Surf because he was saying that you guys started around the same time. You was more elevated than them, and then they got more successful over time.
All right, so I don't even, nigga, this would be killing me with humans.
Mm.
Why would I be worried about with another nigga? You think I want to be either one of them? Nigga, I'm first. I've maintained me my entire time by myself. I wake up and do what I want every fucking day, man. Consistently with no, I don't need no, for what? What's success? Where I come from getting out of success. What you mean? I said when I battle Chiller, all y'all worry about is me and Holla friendship. Well, nigga, fuck a friendship. Isolate me with extensions. We made it out St. Louis. That alone for us is winning.
That's right.
Because it's a measly percentage who designed for the ascension when you come from popping wheelies, hopping fences. Nigga, I answered you, hoe
that was
ass
smooth
niggas
as
with
fuck.
that.
That's fire. That's fire.
Nigga, I answered you, hoe ass niggas on that. Nigga, what you mean? I'm been big, bro. What you mean?
He spit that shit like one of them St. Louis pimps.
Man,
That's
son,
That's
walking
name
down the
St.
street.
Louis.
His swag is that.
St. Louis.
Walk them down the street because see, here's the thing. If we want, if we really want to go there, I'm the only nigga that has 17 acres of land around this bitch, growing his own food. Blow me.
Yeah, he said I'm not jealous. I don't want to be these niggas. The whole shit started from you riding Hitman's post. Ironically, he posts a screenshot. You look at his money, you count his pockets allegedly, and it becomes, oh, wait a minute, I should have some. So survey says that was a lie. Once again, Verb, I want to keep asking the question, man. Did you forget about the 456? You're not talking about that no more? You think we're blind and you're just gonna be like, well, just show the numbers, just show the numbers, just show the numbers. I might. If I do, it'll be on my time, but I really want to stick to the whole trying to get your lawyer. That's what I really want. I really want your lawyer. How many lies are you going to stand on? You said you got a lead coming. I'm going to call you a liar until further notice because that's your character. Okay. What else? All these gay rappers, battlers running around that you know about, and all these until you actually prove it or put some evidence or say some names. Survey says you're a liar there as well. That's your character. Okay. Another funny thing from this particular clip, he rapped the lyrics from the Chilla Jones battle. I'm glad you did because I never heard them. The views on that battle for you being a Mount Rushmore are terrible. So there's a lot of me's in the world from the battle rap culture that never heard the lyrics. And that's unfortunate for the TBL channel, because I'm pretty sure they paid you based on your status opposed to paying you what your draw is. They probably took a L paying you, looking at the YouTube, because sometimes the YouTube anticipation and viewership can almost be an indicator to things like how many people showed up to that event, how many people possibly went on that pay-per-view. It's not a one-to-one, it's an indicator, right? If you look at people in a building, pay-per-view, views when a battle drops, they run semi in parallel, all three of those lines. If I have a trailer that I drop that does I'll use the Cassidy and Hitman face off. If I drop the Cassidy and Hitman face off and it does 1 million views, you think only 20 people show up on a pay-per-view? These pieces run parallel. They run parallel. So I don't know how you, as a promotion god, how much you did for you and Chilla Jones, but I can see into some of the actual business without knowing the numbers of that transaction, and look at the viewership of your YouTube channel and say, I wouldn't be surprised if TBL just took a loss. I've been doing this for too long. Actually, since you got a league coming, the type of stuff that I'm saying right now, you should learn from this, use it, of how to baseline and create metrics to follow your forecast for what type of business you're going to do. I will teach you if you will listen, young man. I've taught you a lot over the years, young man. I know you really want to be my friend. I know that. But here's my apology, man. I apologize because I've said multiple times on maybe different platforms that Aye Verb said that he had 70 acres of land. I was incorrect. I just played it. I apologize to you, Verb, because I like to stay as accurate as possible, something that you don't do and you will never be about. You set out your own words there, 17 acres of land, not 70. I misheard. I apologize to you for that. I do not want to misrepresent you. I do not want to misrepresent you. So being that you do not have 70, you have 17. There goes my apology issued for me being inaccurate or being wrong. I know that you can't issue apologies when you're wrong, but I can. I just want to teach you that within this moment as well. I have no problem apologizing when I'm wrong. But now that my apology is out the way, can you show us the league? Can you show us the gay rappers situations? Can you show us what people are chasing down minors? Can you show us the 17 acres? I know. I ain't showing you. I ain't here for you, nigga. For you. I'm just saying, you lie and say so much shit that we can't see or that you never validate, that I think it's okay at this point for us to ask you for proof, because your credibility is that low. And that sucks for you as a man. Okay. So there's my apology, people. Enjoy your Sunday.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.